good evening. I welcome everyone and I greet you in the name of Christ. I know this book, we need to pray for this book. It is going to some different embassies so that the gospel to unite Africa can be sustained, and our prayers for Africa to unite can be answered. It is my prayer today to say, as we are here in Pretoria, I want to say today is the second day of the week. As a reminder to those that are following, if you look at the moon, it is now increased to 2 parts to a full moon. So when you look at the moon, you realize that it looks as a quarter moon, but it is bigger than the earlier quarter moon. So now this helps us to look and keep the Sabbath in accordance to the will of God. I want to say that today specifically, I'm just here to introduce to you, to tell you to say, for you to support the ministry, for you to receive the blessings from God, order this book, hard copy or soft copies that I'm giving at 100 rand per copy, meaning that 100 kwacha or whatever 100, as long as 100 should be 120 in Zambia. So if you want to get it, it's on promotion, you can get it at only 250, so that at least you are able to receive the understanding of why we are holding a 90 days national prayer and why we are putting on sackcloth. It is for the purpose of showing that Africa is under siege, Africa is under hostage. We need to pray to God in order for us to find the blessings that we need from God. Whatever is happening in Africa today, it is happening because we are under economical slavery. The sanctions, the political leadership, the arrest of other political leaders, they are done because someone is scared to do what? To be opposed. And other international leaders, for example, Julius Malema, that has been found with a case to answer, simply because whatever is spoke, it is classified as hate speech. Why hate speech? It is because Malema speaks the truth. Malema is calling for a United States of Africa. Malema is asking for destruction of the borders. Malema is calling for one parliament. Malema is calling for one currency, one army, in order to fight the colonial system. This colonial system must be removed from Africa so that Africa we can govern ourselves. It is our prayer and fasting that may God help Africa to be independent in totality. Because when Africa is not independent in totality, this is the reason why we have hate speech. We have what is called xenophobia, self-hate, hating one another. And this is the reason why we have no sustainable employment, because we rely on a white minority, the ones that are controlling our economy. This is the reason why, when you look at, ask yourself, why is it the exchange rate of a rand to a US dollar? 1 rand is exchanged maybe 18 rand or 20 rand or 21 rand. Why is it so? It is because we are under economical slavery. It will only take prayer for us to do what? To succeed, to be free from such economical slavery. It is my prayer on this day, which is the 72th day of our prayer. I want to say that as long as we are asking God through prayers, God will answer us. Faith without works is dead. Some Christians, they claim to say the only thing we need to do is to pray, but without talking, without identifying where the root cause of this poverty. You can't just pray. For you to defeat the enemy, you must confront the enemy. You must identify the cause of your slavery. Then that will help you to come out of slavery. And with prayer alone, I've seen people that only wants to pray without being involved in confronting our enemy. This slavery that we are passing through is our enmity. Let me just read few words which I've written from this book at the back. I actually wrote that God foretold through his servant that Africa today is a threat to multi-party democracy that is destined to establish the Pope as the man of peace because they denied colonial rule. This is Evangelist Alex Masuka, President Barack Obama, Pigpen Predicament, page 72, to 2010 edition. I wrote this in 2010. I further explained here to say it must be noted that over many years I have witnessed prophets unfold before my eyes, especially regarding political and spiritual destiny of our continent. This book is a call for awakening to unite Africa under true leadership of Africa Ibrahim Traoré, to reclaim our resources and to restore our spiritual authority alongside with political power. This book is a call for awakening to unite Africa under the leadership of under true leadership, to reclaim our resources and to restore our spiritual authority alongside political power. I think this one is a repetition of the same statement. Yes, Ibrahim Traoré's vision is clear. Africa must control its natural wealth. No more exploitation through secret deal. No more Western-controlled mining industry draining the continent. But Boko was not standing alone. This call is not different from President Duma Gideon Boko of Botswana, Paul Kagame of Rwanda, the opposition leader EFF Julius Malema of South Africa, and EFF Kasonde Mwenda of Zambia. Africa must respond positively to this call as a roadmap to economic freedom. I have lived in exile for over a decade because of this message, but my commitment remains unshaken in the midst of rejection and mockery. The voices of prophets, the stories of Moses, Joseph, Daniel, guide this mission to speak truth boldly, to challenge false system, and to proclaim the gospel. So I want to say that as much as you see this book, it is written as a rescue operation. You may find understanding when you get this copy. You might find more info inside here when you get this copy, because this copy has a lot of other subject matters that you may need to understand. The first chapter is I'm a prisoner of the gospel, the sun and the moon, democrats targeting African sovereignty. Chapter 5, why Gaddafi was killed, who is Ibrahim Traoré, Africa's president Ibrahim Traoré, the roadmap to economic freedom. Chapter 6, Julius Malema's call, Julius Malema's call. Chapter 7, the modern Moses, Ibrahim Traoré. Chapter 8, Africa doesn't import anything. Chapter 9, imperial systems targets. Traoré's letter to Pope Leo XIV. Chapter 11, from Joseph to Pharaoh, US and Africa trap. Chapter 17 questions to Pope Leo XIV. Chapter 13, Pope Leo XIV responds to Captain Ibrahim. Chapter 14, Duma Boka's revolution. Chapter 15, the new prophets of Africa. Chapter 16, the Vatican and the African struggle. Chapter 17, a church symbolism of sun. the sun, moon, and stars. Chapter 18, the African Parliament, Military Bank, the final call to Africa, a divine wake-up call to African leaders. That's chapter 20. Ownership of natural resources, that is chapter 21. Chapter 22, Russia and China's relationship with Africa. Chapter 23, Traore, the Moses of our time. Chapter 24, Ibrahim Traore, the Moses of our time. Chapter 25, Africa without wars, open borders, and one currency. So these subjects are actually subjects that are very well programmed. I'll tell you to say, this was a copy that I published before it was actually edited fully, but I have a copy that needs to be binded and to be edited, which has no errors, the way you noted the repetition. This cover and this book, they are books that need to be binded. So you may find that on this latest printout, you find that there are more subjects that have been introduced which are not there as I quoted. So I want to encourage you to get the book and get to know exactly what is inside here. It is interesting that when you see God giving me visions and dreams to guide the nations of Africa to unite and come together and fight our colonial masters, it is just because God wants you to realize that the Christian doctrines that we have, which looks to be much of peace when there is no peace, much of prayers when prayers are not answered because we ignore to confront political leaders. Christianity doesn't need to unite with politics. Christianity needs to guide political leaders to rule as leaders, not to rule as puppets. The name which is called dictators. Dictator is a colonial name that is given to leadership in Africa, which wants to dictate the right thing, which want to detect good solution, giving us right direction. When a dictator who is called a devil says, I want a bridge tomorrow here, the bridge will be there. But this issue of taking good ideas into parliament, good ideas for opposition to oppose and to propose a budget and so forth, these are the things the president of Botswana has categorically made clear to say they are not required if Africa has to achieve a sustainable development. It is my prayer that we may find other presidents like Duma Boka of Botswana, like him, so that we are able to unite with Ibrahim Traore, because Ibrahim Traore is the Moses of today. And this book will give you an understanding that the rise of Ibrahim Traore is quite prophetical. It's prophetical in the sense that in the first volume, I talked about Joseph and the new king. The rise of Joseph, which was in reference to Obama, it was fulfilled. And Obama is one behind the killing of Saddam Hussein. Not Saddam Hussein, the Libyan president, Gaddafi. So the Gaddafi's death was because of Obama, who was used by NATO to kill him, to kill a brother in order to control Africa. So how many African leaders will continue dying? Even Michael Sata, the shooting of Michael Sata, the assassination attempt in State House, it is because Michael Sata was calling on regaining of the natural resources to be controlled by the government. We need governments that will call for ownership of our natural resources. Gold, copper, diamond, they must be processed here in Africa so that Africans can have the employment, can have food on their table, can have what is called wealthy. I congratulate also Ramaphosa spoke in parliament one day when one of the white minister stood and talked against black empowerment. Ramaphosa answered and says, no, why is it you are against black empowerment? Because black empowerment is something that is made to empower the blacks. You as whites, you are empowered under apartheid, but it is not sounding to be good for blacks to be empowered today. So now, what are we talking about? We are talking about the unity of Africa that can bring us together, that can give us a purpose of life, that can give us understanding that we need to love one another, and that can give us respected leadership, because leadership today is insulted by all because of democracy. This democracy that we have, it has a good picture when you look at it, but the reality, it is evil because it divides us. It promotes hatred. So when you get this book, you are going to understand how God intends that we may live in peace, we may live in harmony, and our leadership must be supported when they detect right thing. They have to give us the leadership that can give us food on the table. May God bless you. May God bless Africa. May Africa be united. Amen.